Welcome back to Podcast with a K. I'm your host, Carla with a K, and we're live. We're back live tonight here on this fine Sunday evening with one of your favorite guests that we've had. By popular demand, has returned former Mr. President, Arturo Martinez.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Arturo, let's see. Talk, because I'm trying to see if the audio is going to feed through here or not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but thank you for coming to
All
the
right,
podcast.
audio's not feeding through again.
Okay.
As always, it wouldn't be the show truly if we didn't have technical difficulties. But what we're gonna do then is, I guess we can just do this. I'll unplug this and talk.
All right, can you guys hear me?
I think so. Talk again.
Hello, everyone.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but thanks for being here and for having me.
All right, yeah, levels are acceptable, I guess. I'll work with that.
That's fine.
I'm not upset with it.
Can't do much about that.
I'm not upset with it, and especially in these, I hate the word in these times because you hear it everywhere all the time, but let's see. I'm still gonna try to figure this one out, even as we're live, because it's not like it hasn't been done in the past. Let's see, talk Arturo? Okay. Does that take care of the echo? Can somebody tell me, please and thank you? I think it should take care of it.
I was looking at the chat.
There shouldn't be an echo, but I feel like that's the best we can do for now. Okay, no, sorry, still echo. All right, we're gonna deal with it.
Okay.
All right, so anyway, how have you been? You're back in the studio after all this time.
It's been rough, to be honest. I'm my final year, I'm a senior this year, so that's been it's been a little difficult because courses are getting a little difficult, but I'm just so ready to graduate.
For sure. And
the whole thing is I'm just ready to graduate because I know one of the topics is I'm over 25 now, and
yeah, you tweeted about that, and I was like, this is a good conversation to have.
It's definitely something a different experience, just being I guess not your regular typical college student, when I came to college I was 23, so now that I'm quote unquote on the other side of the 20s, it's very different, and I just want to graduate and start working. So I'm not supported by my parents. They still kind of support me in a way. But,
right.
But I would just support myself and kind of live on my own and do things on my own. So it's different.
Mhm. Do you think it's also got to do with the expectations placed upon us, especially culturally?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when I came here to college, I felt ashamed because I was over the age. I was supposed to be graduated already, but I can't do much about that. It's just how things work out. And I think since then, I kind of grew a lot, in ways how I think about myself. So I try not to be too hard on myself anymore. I'm presented with this type of opportunity, so I should take the most out of it. So yeah, I don't know, I guess once you get older, you kind of see more things into perspective, and you take things as they come and appreciate things more, I guess.
Um,
Personally speaking, I appreciate more things now than since when I was 18 or 19. So now I try to make the best of anything that comes on my way.
Right, right, right. And it's this is definitely a conversation that I'm excited that we're having because whenever I came to school, I thought I was already like in a tough spot because I had recently turned 21. I was like, dude, I'm like 3 years behind everyone. Like that's crazy. I'm gonna be like the only person there. Everyone else is gonna be like 18. And then all of my roommates were 21 and over, and then I met a lot of people in my hall that were 21 and over, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's not something I was expecting. And then especially talking to you, and whenever I met like all of y'all who had very very similar stories and had actually came to school a little bit later than 21, I was like, okay, and we're all still like thriving. So like, what were we worried about, you know?
Yeah. I guess that was like that's normal for most of us who are like over 21 coming into college. Like we just had that in the back of our minds, but like I guess I never thought that there was going to be people like me coming into college as well, like with the same situation. So it was reassuring, getting to meet like Javi, Jorge, and everybody else who were kind of in the same boat and kind of like share the same challenges and all that. So it was reassuring, and yeah, no, it was honestly it made me feel a little bit better. I guess it's also a blessing that we came at a later age because like we kind of knew what we wanted, and we're like more, I guess, quote unquote mature.
Right.
So we're yeah, like we I guess we didn't yeah, I guess I see that as a plus, which is we came with more experience and we knew what we wanted out of this experience. So I think we're making the best of it. So that's a good thing that has come out of it.
And that's definitely what matters. I think
Mhm.
that like you said, we can't really control our circumstances. We can just make the best out of them. Uh,
Mhm.
I feel like
I know it's definitely a learning experience. Um, like even when hanging out with people under our age, like under 21, you get to learn a lot from them and learning from other people. So uh, yeah, it's just it's just a learning experience, like I said, and you know getting to make the best out of it. That's what we can do, and this is an opportunity that my parents didn't have, that my sister doesn't have yet. So I'm just making the best of it, making meeting new people, making new friends, and um, and making friends for life. Because I know coming here to to college here in Connecticut, I make a lot of friends for life. So that's what I'm taking out of this experience, uh, and I made a lot of friends that are like almost like family to me. So yeah, like it's been an awesome experience.
I'm really really glad to hear that you're doing great, especially as you reach the end. You know, it's bittersweet,
Yeah,
and you stuck it out
yeah,
the full 4 years too, right?
yeah, the full 4 years. Yeah, it was definitely a challenge though, because like I was out of school for five years. I graduated in 2012, um, and DACA was announced like the month after I graduated. So 5 years of like
Wow.
without school and all that. And at some point, I had given up. If it wasn't for my mom who like kept pushing me to apply for for scholarships and all that, but it's definitely been a really fun experience, and it was worth it. And um, I look forward to what's the next challenge. Um, I'll be staying in Connecticut, so
Will you
this year I'll
really?
be staying here in Connecticut. Yeah, so I'll be staying here. I won't be leaving Connecticut anytime soon, but
What
you
led you
know,
to make that decision?
um, so I got a job offer from Cigna, um, and I guess I can tell you I accepted the offer, and I'm staying here for at least 3 years, because I'm part of the Tech DP program.
That's
I know many of you
crazy.
guys know that I know that you guys know that I was a summer intern, and um, they're I guess they really like my work and my work ethic, and they decided to offer me an offer. So I'm really excited to be working. But yeah, we'll see what the new challenge awaits.
That's amazing. I'm super excited to hear that. You're really making the best of this.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to do the best of it because I feel like when I was young, I would leave like a lot of opportunities on the table and like be scared to take them, and then I guess get out of my shell. And that's one of the things that I learned, now that I'm older, like not to be afraid, to take as much of the opportunities that come my way, and to make the best out of it. So um, that's something that I really really learned throughout college, and that's something that I would say is my number one improvement, taking those challenges, and not being scared of them.
Yeah, a conversation we've had a lot is also like the concept of opportunities that we sometimes pass up due to like our own struggles with imposter syndrome, like especially
Yeah.
after kind of not being necessarily told that we couldn't do it, but after just those gap years alone kind of they're disheartening. It's like, wow, I did everything right just to be hit with a roadblock completely beyond my control. And so like it kind of shifts how you think. It's like, wow, maybe I didn't do something right, you know? But again, it's
Yeah.
stuff that we can't control, and now that we've kind of worked past it, I think what matters is the fact that we're just out here living through it and making the most of it.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said it, like that's completely like I completely agree with everything you said. It's just that imposter syndrome, like getting past that imposter syndrome, it's the first step. And once you get past that, you know, you kind of feel more confident about yourself and about your skills and what you can do. So um, that's what happened to me. And look where I got into college, and I got a job that will probably set me up for life, and I'll be able to take care of my parents from now on. So it's just not being afraid of what you can do, and tackle it head on, any challenge that comes your way.
Very true. And speaking of imposter syndrome, I know you've missed these flawless segues. I hear you've been, it's not all work, sometimes it's a little bit of play, and I hear you've been playing Among Us.
Yeah, no, I've been ever since, like, I don't know if like it got big on Twitch. Um, I just been playing with my friends. Not a lot, but a couple, a few nights, now and then, and it's a really fun game if you get the right people. But uh, yeah, no, I'm just amazed of how like popular it got, overnight. You know, I watch Twitch, and that's like the number one top game that people play, and it's I guess it's also really fun watching other people play because I like going to Twitch and watching Tim the Tatman or Courage or any of those popular streamers play, and when they start playing those games and with their friends, it's just interesting. And I don't know, it's just something interesting about that game that it's really really fun.
It's really cool to see a game like this kind of succeed again, especially because it follows such like a basic concept, right? It's essentially mafia because you have like your one secret like villain and everyone else just tries to guess who it is. And I love seeing games be kind of modified and modernized. And it's really, really cool to see how games blow up overnight now, especially because of Twitch. And we've talked about this a little bit before. I don't remember if it was one of your episodes or somebody else's, but the influence and the impact that Twitch has now. And it doesn't even have to be somebody famous, because before this, I had no idea who Tim the Tatman was. He got big with Fall Guys, right? And so now he's out here on both of these games. He's like on the grind for both things, and because of that, like not because of him solely, but he's been very pivotal in like making this game blow up because everyone gets into it and people kind of get obsessed with one personality and trying to see that one internet personality kind of progress and succeed with that like concept, with that game, with that idea, and then they stick around, and then the next thing they do is going to get all of their attentions.
Yeah, it's just crazy how like streamers that like can influence a lot of people. Like, like you said, like Twitch has become such a big platform that like you even got like celebrities happening and playing games with like these streamers. Like, who was it that was playing? I think it was Optic Nate Shot or he's playing with like Drake or something like
Yes.
that. Like it's crazy how like they gotten so big and
Bro,
they got
T-Pain.
videos and
T-Pain
like
streams now.
who
T-Pain.
T-Pain? I didn't know that.
He streams,
Oh, you know
dude.
what's funny? Chicharito streams too. He plays Call of Duty.
You're
I think it was
lying.
like last week. Yeah, I was watching his Call of Duty stream. It was so funny because they were playing with a random kid, and it was so funny.
I absolutely love that. But like you see, it's kind of like you know how I've seen this a lot recently. People have been complaining that Instagram, especially since it was bought by Facebook, stopped being so much like a community photography app and became more of a thing for like influencers and marketing and small businesses, and it kind of started getting taken over by larger businesses and just brands and a lot of like sponsorship deals, right? And so Instagram has kind of become that, but for shopping, whereas Twitch has kind of taken the role of being an influencer for pop culture because it's not just games, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, we have mentioned musicians and professional sport, like people who are in professional sports, like people who you wouldn't really consider a part of the same group, influencing people's like actions and interests in a similar direction. So it's really interesting to see how I don't know, people will just kind of find any platform once what they're used to shifts away from that. Because, like, I don't necessarily always want to be advertised. Granted, I buy a lot of things off of Instagram ads. I advertise my own art on Instagram. However,
Mhm.
sometimes I just want some entertainment. It's not always got to be about purchasing, which isn't to say Twitch isn't a business, right? People put a lot of money and time into it. However, you do get something a little bit more wholesome out of it than just a product that you're gonna be into while it's trendy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Twitch has become like a platform for me to like, chill sometimes. It's to the point where like I can equate it to like, actual TV. Like I can just turn on like a, stream and just chill for a couple hours, watch them, play a game. And years ago, like this concept, watching other people like play a game was like so weird to people. But now, like you got millions of people watching people play a game, and it's just I don't know what it is about it, but it's really fun to watch them play. Um, like I don't know. I guess for me personally, like sometimes when I'm not good at games, like I just rather watch somebody who else who's good at that game. Um, so that's for me personally. Like when I look into streams, or sometimes it's just like their whole character that they like kind of like I guess impersonate because some of them like play characters. They don't play themselves. They play like other characters. I don't know if you know about Doctor Disrespect. He
Yeah.
plays he plays like a character. So sometimes there's like comedic value out of that. Sometimes it's just like you just want to watch someone who's just chilling and playing. So it's really weird, but it's really like you do have a good time playing. I mean not playing, but watching them. And yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
for me that's entertainment.
It's a little bit of
That's why
escapism, yeah.
it's been so big.
I feel that. And honestly, this is something that I've been thinking about recently because the other day, I've been kind of into Valorant recently. I'm not great at it. I don't often play. I didn't used to play computer games at all. Like, the most I ever did was play PUBG on my phone with my sister. But then once I got this laptop that could actually handle running things, I have like my second monitor hooked up to it. I got like a mouse for it. So, like, I was like, okay, this game is free. It's not that demanding. I'm gonna see if my computer can run it, and it can. But I don't have time to like get good at it. So like, if people that I already watched on Twitch or people that I find through people on Twitch are playing it, I'll just kind of throw it on in the background. And so the other day I was writing a paper or something, and I was trying to think of something else. And so in chat, because it was a pretty small stream, like people who've been hanging out for a while, so it's kind of just like a little community. So I was like, what's another way to say this? And someone was like, how can you be like working while you're watching like Valorant? Like, that's crazy. I would be so distracted. I could not focus. And I'm like, honestly, it's like having music or TV in the background. It's just
Yeah.
it's kind of on. I'm not saying like y'all aren't interesting, but I'm also saying like I just kind of have it on the background. I'm not paying attention. I just like it's nice to have there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I do the same thing too. Like sometimes I just start like a random stream like from one of my random channels that I followed and I just listen to it in the background while I do something else. And it's
it's
weird.
weird.
Like during the quarantine I was watching a lot of streamers um that's when I got like really really into Twitch during the quarantine. Because before that I would watch now and then, but like no, yeah, it's just putting that in the background and just like vibing. Because sometimes like it just vibes to them. Um, I know, like you mentioned, there's channels that like not only like gaming but like art or like music. So I kind of like try to discover new channels, and like I would go to like a music channel and see a guy like make beats live. So it's pretty interesting. Like it could also be like an educational. You can learn like a lot of things throughout Twitch.
Over
I
quarantine,
know
I
like
actually watched some like arts ones. Yeah.
yeah. So it's fun. Really recommend people exploring Twitch more. Like we're advertising Twitch on Twitch right now, but like it's really fun.
I mean, to be fair, you are also live on a radio station, and this is probably reaching somebody who doesn't watch Twitch. Because I know a lot of our listeners are like community members and people who have been listening to the station for a long time. So I just hope this is reaching somebody that doesn't know anything about Twitch or online gaming or online anything, because this is it's a good platform, and it started off for gaming, sure, but it's expanded so much past that. Like you said, it's TV. You can find something of anything on there.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's free, so
And it's free.
you can support your streamers, but you should do that if you find someone who's really that you really enjoy. You should support them because
Right.
it's also it's a job for them. So
Yeah, there's such a thing as full-time
which is a
streaming.
cool thing. Yeah, it's a cool thing that people can make this a job. So
Yeah. Me sitting here considering, like, man, am I gonna put this new media degree to good use, or should I just become a streamer? All right, let's go ahead and take a music break because we've been going on for almost half an hour already. Time flies when you're having a good conversation. All right, so let's see. Give us a song to listen to, Arturo.
I've been listening to this new song that I found on Spotify Radio. It's called Amber. And I don't know. It's just sometimes you find a song that you really like, and it just gets stuck in your head for like a whole week or 2 weeks. So, um, yeah, it's an alternative rock, I guess, or just like regular alternative song. So, I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, so here is Amber by Unusual Demont. That was Amber by Unusual Demont. I liked it. It had a very like indie, like flowy, like it's a vibe essentially. Is what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
that's usually I guess people who like know me like a lot. That's the type of song that I like to listen to, like really chill, like vibey type of feel.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, most of I actually like create like playlists on Spotify, and I have a bunch of songs like that, and I don't know, that's like my number one playlist that I always play every single day.
Nice, because I know we all know you as Bad Bunny's biggest fan, but you do have a taste for the indie vibe.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, I would say that my top three like genres of music would be like indie number one. Then you can have like Bad Bunny type of style like trap, Spanish trap. Um, And then I would say my third, or my, it would be like kind of like rock, like old school type of rock, and like, um, I guess not school, but like oldies basically, like the Beatles and all that.
Oh, for
Michael
sure, for
Jackson.
sure.
Yeah, but yeah, no, indie is my favorite genre, and like, there's so much like that you can find in indie that it's just really, really cool.
It's really a well-rounded playlist that you've got going on then, like as a whole.
Yeah.
It's not a bad way to be. But speaking of Bad Bunny, I did want to get your input in particular. There's a few people who I'm gonna ask about this in the upcoming weeks, but Arturo is one of them. What did you think of the virtual concert? Because last week during my test show, which I guess if you listened last week, you already heard my thoughts on it. But let's hear Arturo's thoughts on the Bad Bunny virtual concert, how it went, and what this means for his concept of the future of music as we know it right now.
Ooh, I really liked the concert. It was really like honestly, like I was telling other people, I was expecting him to like be somewhere like in a room and like just do something like in a set, I guess. But he caught me off guard, like doing it like outside, and it was really really creative how he did it, which was really really cool. And I can't imagine the people that were like around, and then just see Bad Bunny strolling past their neighborhood. I think that was pretty cool. That was that was really like an original idea, and um it's really really exciting how like artists are like thinking of new ways to like reach their fans. And I know Bad Bunny is one of them that really really works really hard to connect with its fans. um so I guess that's what drives me to like liking him a lot, because like he does like a lot of cool things, and like does it for his fans, and it's something really 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 cool. And I don't know, like it's just I really like the concert. I like the idea of going around and like uh you know I guess singing like songs like that are really really good. And um I hope artists can like consider, due to the situation we're in right now. uh we all miss concerts, we all miss all that, but um and it's comforting knowing that artists are doing like their best to like kind of bring their music to people in a way that can be like concerts, in a way. I don't
Right.
know if that makes sense, but like
No, for
we
sure.
all miss going to concerts. So it's definitely like a really interesting idea and concept, that they can explore. But yeah, like keep it going, like I wish I knew he was gonna be in New York, because like we're literally 2 hours away. So I would have like probably drive and just to see him.
Honestly, facts. And to be fair, during the interview segments of the concert, he did mention that he didn't want to do it virtually, right? And he wanted to find the like safest way to make it as interactive as possible. And so the concept was just driving through New York. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be. I talked about this last week again, but I've seen a lot of like drive-in concerts becoming a thing. And I only found out about it after I looked it up because there's a band I like, Arizona, that's going to be doing a drive-in concert in Pennsylvania, and no one wants to make that drive with me, but whatever. But so I looked it up, and there's been other artists that have done it, some successfully, some not so much. But it's interesting to see people exploring different avenues for it, because you really
Yeah.
can't. It's not just the artist that suffers, right? They have their entire management and stage crews and the venues themselves. And I mean, there's so much money being held ransom, right, by the ticket companies for shows that have been
Yeah.
postponed, shows that have not been yet canceled. They're just like, oh, we'll do it in 2021. Oh, we'll do it like whenever. But I feel like if they were to just kind of like shift it, like, all right, different venue, maybe, but it's
Mhm.
it's gonna be it's gonna be a tricky adjustment period.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. And I know like a lot of artists are like kind of doing their own ways. I don't know if you guys remember Travis Scott throwing a concert on Fortnite, which was,
Yes.
when I heard about that concept, I was like, okay. But then I saw the videos of the actual concert, and it was pretty like amazing how they did it. Um, so yeah, it's amazing how like these artists are finding ways to like bring shows to their fans. And uh, I hope they more artists continue to do that, and uh, think outside the box basically, and bring entertainment to people during this time. Because I feel like not with the whole COVID thing, like we're not gonna go to normal. It's not gonna be normal like it was before. Um, until I guess we find a vaccine. But even then, I actually don't think it's gonna be as normal as before. There's gonna be, I guess, we got so conditioned because of the situation that we're not gonna be acting like we were acting before. Um,
It's
so
gonna definitely be a different attitude.
yeah, so concerts will be a bit different, I guess, from now on. So it's definitely interesting to see how will that move on in the future, and what artists will bring. But Bad Bunny, he did a good job, and I enjoy his concert, and um, I hope he comes out with a new album because
Did you see his
yeah.
Crocs collab?
oh, so I was talking to Maria about this, and I was like, bruh, I'm so ready to pre-order them or buy them as soon as they come out, and she was like, no, don't buy them. I was like, okay. So
Again,
I don't
I
know.
want to point out how hard I stand Maria because same. This man is an influencer. He is a fashion icon, and for him to collab with of all entities, Crocs. Like I get it, they're comfortable. I get it, they're like a thing now. They're not
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, yeah. No, so I'll probably won't be buying them because I know, look, they're a little overpriced. Like for Crocs, Crocs are a little overpriced,
They're already
but
expensive to begin with. Plus Bad Bunny, dude, like that's insane.
yeah, but we'll see. I can't guarantee that I won't buy them.
All of my roommates have Crocs, and they're all like, "We're gonna get you in Crocs by the end of the year," and I'm like, "No, no." I had Crocs when I was 10 years old, so that's where they're gonna stay in the past. All right,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
we'll
yeah.
see.
we will see. Let's see. Do you want to do another a quick song break then, as we transition into our other topic, which is a little bit more news. It still ties in
Yeah,
with pop culture and gaming, as we've been talking about.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess since we're on the Bad Bunny topic, I guess the next song could be "Cómo se siente." I don't know. That's a new song. I think it came out this summer, right? If I'm not mistaken. But uh, it's such a good song to vibe to, and of course it has Bad Bunny. So what else could be wrong about that song? But yeah, no, it's "Como se siente" by Jhay Cortez, and yeah,
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, without further ado, for the album Las que no iban a salir, which it was so good. I can't believe none of those songs were ever supposed to come out.
For
But
real.
all right, I have no way to segue into the next topic, so we're just gonna go ahead and hit it. We have been talking about pop culture and things that are in the news, and we talked about gaming a little bit at the beginning because we both like games. But Arturo, what has caught your eye in the industry recently?
I I guess the whole industry. I guess it could go to the tech industry as well, because I'm a big tech nerd. Like the Apple versus Epic fight. Um, it's just interesting how the everything that has happened between, I guess, their fight. I think we saw Fortnite get banned from the Apple Store and the Google Store, so it's definitely interesting seeing that fight unfold because it's still happening right now, and it's a big deal in terms of developers. I'm currently like a developer, so that will have a big impact on the whole developer industry of how um I guess Apple can take cuts, from virtual um items, I guess. Um I guess if you guys don't know, I can talk
Yeah, yeah, give us a quick
Summarize it.
rundown on it.
yeah, so the Apple versus Epic fight has to deal with um so Epic has a game called Fortnite, and they Fortnite charges a certain amount of money for in-game items. Um and Apple takes a cut out of it. I believe it's 20%. Um and
It's 30.
Epic
I looked it up. It's 30%.
30%. Okay. Yeah, so kind of like Epic doesn't like that. So they decided to introduce their own payment processing within the Fortnite app, and that was against the Apple rules. So, um, and they were giving people a discount. So let's say instead of paying $10.99 for an income item, um, you could pay $7.99, but only if you use Epic's internal payment processing, I guess. So you would have two options in the app. You would have to pay with the Apple way or the Epic way, and um, according to Apple terms and conditions for developers, you that violates the rules because Apple is losing out on money, and it's their store. So at the beginning, I was like, I agree with Apple. Like, it's their stores; they can set their own rules. But then I read more about it, like more in detail, and basically, Epic can pretty much, ask for like I guess like a handout, like maybe like work a deal with Apple and let it go. But they're actually doing it for the smaller developers. So the whole fight between them is just them trying to like help small developers get a more of a cut for their work than they do right now. So they actually want to, in a way, kind of decrease the amount of cut that Apple takes from in-game, I guess, in-store items or virtual items, whatever you can call them. Um, so they just want developers to get more of a cut and get more money for their work. So that's an interesting, fight because Epic is not only fighting Apple, they're also fighting Google at the same time. Uh, so Epic is going against two of the biggest companies in the country and in the world, and you know they actually don't have to do this. Like I said, they can actually work out deals privately with them, and because I know there's several big apps that worked out deals with Google and Apple, where like Apple takes only 10%, but they're actually doing it for the small developers, and that's big news because that could shape a lot of the work and the new development that many small developers are doing, and it could help small developers, grow and you know make more money out of their work. So it's definitely gonna be interesting
So,
how that's gonna go.
yeah, that's a question that I did want to ask because whenever I looked this up, because we all saw, I'm assuming, we all saw the video, the 1980 Fortnite one, and I was like, what's this mean? And so obviously I looked it up and I saw, like, I kind of kept up with it a little bit as it developed. I'm not super into Fortnite. The only time I play is with one of my friends from back home because it's the only game that she plays. So, like, I'll join her every now and then, but it's never been my favorite. There's a couple streamers I watch that play it, but that's the extent of my knowledge on it, right? So the only thing I knew about Fortnite on mobile was that Fortnite had cross-platform, right, which was huge because
Yeah.
not a lot of games do that. I know everyone's been calling for PUBG to do it, but they never did. They just kind of kept their seasons separate. They kept everything very compartmentalized. And so with the in-app purchases, Epic was essentially just trying to like make their own money. They said they were combating Apple's monopoly, essentially on in-app purchases. But the thing is, I don't think they expected Google to retaliate as well. I think Apple was first, right? Google only reacted once Apple did, and um, like I said, 30% is what they take, and Epic essentially announced that you could buy V-Bucks directly from them and then just use them in your mobile account without ever having to do it from the App Store or from the app, which feeds through the App Store, right? That's where you have your payment authorized. But in what I have here, it says that there were 116 million players. So that's a lot of people that had the game, active players. That's a lot of people that have the game downloaded to begin with. And so if you have the game on your phone already, you don't lose it, right? You just can't download it anymore. But there also can't be any updates, which is major because, as life goes on, things start to get buggy and like they can't fix it. They can't update the season. They can't do anything with their game. I think the only workaround is on Android phones. You can use, I think, Android Underground to download Fortnite, but it still can't be updated. It's only like the old version of the game. Um, but I wanted to ask about what you said about how these cuts are used because supposedly the reason that Apple takes this cut is so that they can do work on their end, right, and also to keep their apps running to like promote smaller apps essentially. But the amount of money that goes into Apple from all these in-app purchases, right? Maybe this was a thing back then, whenever mobile gaming was first picking up. But at this point, I feel like they make enough money that they could strike a deal for a lesser cut just to keep everyone happy and just to keep the app on the store. Because at this point, like they got rid of the app altogether, which means they're still losing out on that money. And not only are they losing out on all money from Fortnite, because there's some people that were still gonna use Apple Store, the App Store, just for the convenience of it without having to go to Epic like on a PC or something and buy V-Bucks and then go to their account. Like there's a reason people are playing on mobile, which is they don't want to have to deal with it on PC. But now it's kind of obviously I know they have to make an example of it and like prove their point, but in doing so, they're still losing out on all that money, which if Apple is as wholesome as they claim to be, it's still going to end up harming the smaller creators, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting because like Epic can do this. Like they can make like a deal and decrease the amount of money Apple can take out. But I think the principle or the main idea behind this fighter, I guess the main thing is that um there's smaller developers that can't do this. There's you could be like I could create an app and charge people for money, but 30% for a smaller developer, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that's been taken out. So I think Epic knows this, and that's why they're standing up for the smaller guy. And that's not to say that Epic is like a great company.
Not at all, bro. They charge so much for so little.
Yeah, yeah. So but still, it like it might not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal for smaller developers because they'll be able to make enough money to continue developing like this amount of great apps that we all download in our phones. So um, it allows them to get more money to create, you know, who knows, like maybe innovative things that could be helpful in the future. So um, it's definitely interesting how what's going on right now. And I guess I was watching a video the other day about like the whole 30 what the 30% cut meant and where it came from. It has a history with how brick and mortar stores took kind of like a 30% cut out of physical goods because like the way you price an item is like you have to account for like shipping, for distribution, for all of these things that happen behind the scenes to get you the physical product to your house, or to your hands basically. So it kind of became like an industry standard over the years, and it kind of like trickled down into, I guess, like in-app purchases. So um, you know, it makes no sense to charge developers 30% now because like there's no physical distribution of
Right.
an app.
And
Uh,
again, the money that goes into it, regardless, is already so much more than it ever was in the past.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So, it like I say, there's really isn't like a clear winner. Like we don't know who's gonna be like the clear winner because it's still in the courts. They actually took it to the courts. Uh, so we will see what happens. We'll see if Apple prevails once again or if Epic, can stand up. Uh, because if you compare Epic to Apple, I know Epic is a big company, but if you compare it to Apple or to Google,
Apple's a
Epic,
monster, dude.
yeah, it's like Epic is nothing. Like it's basically a small, like it's basically a David versus Goliath. Um, and if they pull it off, then it's definitely gonna be like it's gonna shake up the developer industry, um, and I think that it's gonna be a positive outcome for developers to basically help them express their creative means in a better way and gain access to more money to create better things.
Honestly, yeah. I hope that it does kind of go more Epic's way, in which different, I guess, companies and developers can maybe, if they must continue to take a cut, right, at least make a deal to set a different rate. Because like you said, the people that suffer the most, I guess, are smaller creators who are making their apps not just for fun, but like to try to turn a profit. Because it's just like with anything, it's hard to get it to kick off, right? But I feel like the thing that that's gonna decide right now is whether or not Epic continues to fight it, because it's gonna set a precedent. And honestly, even though it's very much David Goliath, right? But even in that story, like the underdog's the one that wins, and that's what I'm hoping for here, because it will make it easier for smaller creators to make a profit off of their products. And if they're
Yeah,
giving themselves
definitely.
if they're given that advantage by for example Apple themselves, right? They don't have to try to put themselves on their own pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have to go the extra mile to make themselves turn a profit instead of just breaking even. Because I feel like that's what happens with a lot of them, right? Like they spend a lot of their
Yeah.
first few years paying themselves back for all of the money that they've invested into the project before they ever start to see any profit come from it, if it ever even gets that far.
Yeah, especially with startups. A lot of startups like spend a lot of money than they're making, so they're not really making any money because they're hoping that somewhere in the future they get big enough to like I guess make enough to survive. So um yeah, it's we'll see what happens with the courts and you know and see if Apple prevails or if Epic prevails, which is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. Do you have any like personal opinions on either one? Like,
Um,
how do you hope this goes?
I do prefer, that Epic would win, this legal battle, not only against Apple but Google. Like I said, it would help smaller, I guess, developers. But then I kind of see the argument that Apple makes is like it's their store, it's um,
It is
they can
their
decide
store, their rules.
what rules. Yeah, but then another thing is that we could see in the future we could see different app stores because Apple is really like has a close environment. They control everything
Yeah, dude.
and with the iPhone. It's not like Android where like you can you know do a lot of things. Android's like really open source, but Apple is like a closed environment. Um, so like the new update, people are getting excited about like customizing their icons, widgets in their home screen, and really Android did that
Android had it first.
almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and Apple is
Yeah.
just did it like this year. So,
And the thing is,
but
it's not even through Apple. It's just that they're finally letting apps have those permissions, because I didn't know that. I switched back to Android over the summer because my iPhone was an SE and it was super slow, and I was like, I don't really want to pay for another iPhone, especially right now that they're about to go through so many changes, because it's going to be super buggy while they figure it out. So I'll just
yeah,
get like a cheaper Android just in the meantime. And I forgot. I've always kind of liked Android better for the customization, and for the fact that like even Google Play is not the only app you can use. You can use Android Market, and they have an
yeah,
underground quote unquote marketplace where you can essentially like test run apps for free. So you have access to literally any paid app for free, or you used to. It's not a thing anymore, which
yeah.
I sucks. But as long as you essentially gave them access to your entire phone so that they could like receive feedback and stuff. But I was like, they already have access to it anyway, so I might as well give them direct permission, because that just means I get to access all of it for free. Um, what shook me was that that wasn't even directly an Apple update. It's just that there's an app that got popular because they were already on top of it, and that app customizes it. It's essentially like legally jailbreaking your iPhone.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean,
So
people know about jailbreaking that you would be able to do this like 10 years ago too. Uh, but now like it's kind of like a backdoor to like customizing your 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 icons. But it's still like iffy. Like I don't know if you've seen videos. Like when you open the app, it takes you to the actual app that you did it with, and it opens the actual app. So
yeah, it's the
um,
weird little like shortcut thing. I hate it. I've seen a few
yeah,
people like a few people have showed me it, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm not convinced on it. Like I'm happy for you or whatever, but
yeah.
I don't think it's something that I'm gonna partake in.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Apple. They're so like they control their products like so well that they don't allow many things. In a way, it's a good thing because like uh we you get kind of like a better quote unquote product. I guess like that would be updated throughout the years because I know iPhones get updated. They get updates every year. But with Android, it's a little difficult because you have so many different manufacturers and companies. So each company handles their updates differently, and I know some phones don't even get updated at all. So you got like the pros and cons, between Apple and Google. Yeah, you get more freedom with Google, but like you don't get that consistency that you get with Apple in terms of updates, quality
This is true.
control,
Very
all
true.
that. So both Android and iOS are like excellent platforms. It's just whatever you prefer the most.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be super interesting to see how it develops. And as I said, for every single topic we've discussed, I'm glad that this is a conversation we're getting to have because these are things that like they come up on the newsfeed. I'll see them, like read through them, but like I like this discussion because it's always a little eye opening, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it does have like implications in how we live our lives as well. Because these companies control everything we do in our phones. So whatever they decide to do with their policies will, in some way, somehow impact our lives and how we use, I guess, their products in the end. In the end, but it's I encourage people to at least know what's going on, because the companies have a really really big influence in how we do things and you know how they kind of monitor what we do on our phones because they might they might say that they don't, but they actually there are many companies who monitor how much we do and you know that ad that shows up in Instagram, that's them using your cookies and whatever
Yeah.
you browse, that's them watching whatever you do on Google Chrome or on Safari, and then those cookies get saved into your phone, and that's why you see those ads in Instagram uh, or TikTok or somewhere else.
Or
I don't
Facebook
know.
actually admitting that they listen to what you say and give you ads based off of it, and then nobody even freaked out about it.
Yeah. So it's we definitely got to keep up with what these big companies are doing because you know they have so much power. You never know what they'll come up with next.
For sure. Well, as our time has drawn to a close, I'd like to once again thank you, Arturo, for agreeing to do the show, for all of these conversations, for all of your viewpoints. Everything is always super interesting, super fulfilling in the time that we get to discuss what's going on in the world. Thank you also for putting up with figuring out the new setup. And also thank you, dear listeners, for sitting along for this ride. It's only the second week that show. Well, technically, this is the first week. I did a test run last week, but we're just now returned. New setup, new restrictions, new regulations, and everyone's kind of doing their own thing. For example, this virtual setup was not a thing that I had done in conjunto with the station. I'd only done this on one end or the other, and now
Yeah.
melding it together has been an experience. But thank you for sticking through it. Hopefully, next week will be more streamlined, as will the following weeks to come. Every week is a learning experience, and that also applies to every experience in life. But yes, thank you so much. Do you have any closing remarks or statements on anything we've said or anything new that you'd like to bring out, shout out, etc.?
No, like just thank you for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest for for this setup, and I hope that everything gets better and figure out the technical difficulties. But I had so much fun talking to you and interacting with everyone here. So again, thank you again for having me, and hopefully there could be a third time.
Fingers crossed for that. And as always, I'd be super glad to have you back in the show. Of course, I had to have the former Mr. President make a grand return. It was just, it's poetic, in some way. But, all right. Well, do you want to give us one last song to listen to as we sign off for the night?
Sure. I don't have anything to say about this song. It's just that it's just an indie type of song again. It's by Kaytranada, which is called 10%. And uh, yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy. And thanks for being here.
We will see you next week at the same time on the same station with new nonsense and new guests. Have a fantastic week.